Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. Wanted to bring you guys a little update on Litecoin. We've broken over $50, guys, so that's very exciting. We're at $50.10 right now. We're up 6.8%, which is very interesting. There's some things I want to show you that I'm seeing with Litecoin. If you guys could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Going for 100 likes on this video. You guys been killing it for me, and I'm just beyond thankful. So we're going to get into this. We're going to dive into Litecoin, and right now, guys, we're looking at it on the 4-hour chart, and I just want to show you some of the things that I'm looking at right now. So with Litecoin, we've been traveling in this channel, and also I don't have my normal trading view. I got kicked out of it for some reason. I had to set a new password, do all that type of stuff. They said I had too many attempts on it, so guys, I don't have as many moving averages or indicators as I typically would have, so we're just going to have to go through it, you know, pull some off, put some on, maybe a little more time consuming, but we're going to get into it, and I'll talk to you about everything that I'm seeing here. So with Litecoin, what we're having, guys, we've been traveling in this channel where we're going up and down. We've been making higher highs and higher lows, which is really awesome. I mean, you can see here's a higher high, then a higher low, higher high. We made a higher low, we traveled sideways, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now, what you're seeing, though, do you see this price right here around that $45, $46 mark? Take a look at where the RSI was at. It was up at the 90s. Now we came back down and we had a price push up and we got out of this upper channel here, but look where your RSI is at. So do you see that divergence, guys? So most likely we're going to have that pullback. It could be, you know, probably around that 20 EMA, around $46. That's a good spot to start looking at. $42 and maybe even that $40. You know, there could really be a nice strong pullback, guys. We've been moving really strong, really fast, and each day we've still been kind of looking for that pullback due to the RSI and everything we're seeing on it. And sometimes you have those last little kick legs up before you start to have a really nice pullback, and that's what we need. We need a really nice pullback. We've been working at the top of this channel here. You see that? So we pushed up here, and then we broke up through again, and now we're probably setting like some type of doji candle, which we'll dig into this too, guys, what's up above there. But we're running into also overhead resistance at around $56, which is going to be really strong and hard to get up above, and we need a pullback before we can do that. Our RSI right now is still at 75 on the 4-hour chart, so we're oversold, or I'm sorry, we're overbought on the RSI right now. We're over that 70 mark, so really expect a pullback, guys. That's just what I'm leaning towards. I wouldn't be FOMOing in at $50. I know I've said that even around $45, because given the RSI, given all the other indicators, you know, this last little kick leg push here, you know, a lot of times doesn't happen in normal markets like that once you start to see those overbought conditions. So keep an eye on this channel. Now, if we do come down here and say we broke through this $40 mark, we would look to come down here and test this 200-day moving average, which look how far we're up above it. And that's another thing. We could definitely still pull back to even this 200-day moving average on the 4 hours, guys. $36. That would be right in line with coming down around here, testing this bottom line again. There would be no trouble in that, and that would still keep our upward momentum going, which we would like to see for Litecoin. So next thing that I want to look at, and I wanted to mention to you guys, is gap aways. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to change this 20 EMA and we're going to go to the 30 moving average, and I want to show you something important. All right, we'll just do the 30 EMA. That's fine. It should still show us. Just really want you guys to see this. Okay. All right. So something that I've noticed and I've been studying on is moving averages catching air. Okay, so anytime you have a nice little run up here and you start to get some air between the moving average and the price, it's always pulled back into it. So even right here, we shot up, we pulled back into this moving average, this 30-day EMA. Do you see the gap that's in between right here? We always pull back onto that. So you can even see this here. We had this nice shot up. We pulled back onto this moving average. Now look how far we've got overextended from this moving average, and most likely we're going to pull back on top of it again, guys, around that $46, $45. I promise you it's going to be coming back down unless something crazy happens, but we're at that overbought spot right now. And if you were to throw on, so I'm going to take off the RSI. So remember, guys, that divergence that you're seeing on the RSI here, and we're going to throw on the Bollinger Bands, and we're going to see how overextended we are if we're popping out of them. All right. So our Bollinger Bands, remember, it gets really tight when we're about to make a move, and when we're at the top of the bands, we're overextended, and when we're at the bottom, then we're oversold. See this right up here? We snuck out of the bands, guys. And typically, like look at these examples, when you wick out of the bands, then you always have that pullback. You always fall back. Right up here, we kind of came out of the bands over here. We had a pullback down into here. So what this would look like if we were to pull back to the lower part of the band, that would put us around that $41. That'd be a nice healthy pullback. Our middle band, where we also said that 30 moving average, that would be around $45. So these are the hot spots that I'm going to be looking at. That 45 down into $40. There's no reason for me to FOMO, guys, even down on top of this $40 right here. So let's put a line here so you all can see. Like right in there. This is a big hot spot area, so we're going to see. And we're going to see if Litecoin continues to make this move up, but pay attention to Bollinger Bands. Why would you buy right now, guys? We just got out of the channel. We're losing steam on the RSI, and it looks like we're forming some type of gravestone doji here so far on the 4-hour. Do you see that? That doji? So that's that fighting, that indecision. Could we still go up a little bit higher? Absolutely, guys. Anything can happen. We can get up to 95 on the RSI and get overextended. But you got to pay attention to those divergences that are happening and popping out of the bands here. You know, even when we got out of them here, we still kind of pulled back and got close to this middle band. And the middle band is going to sit you around $46 or so. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to pull back all the way to the 1 day, and I want you all to see something here. So even on the 1 day, do you see how we're overextended out of the Bollinger Bands? We're up above the 200-day moving average, which is awesome, but expect a pullback onto that, guys. That could be, so on the 1 day, it would be $45. That would be fair, and then if you want to potentially long there, just don't go FOMOing into this stuff. You know, pay attention to these Bollinger Bands. Look, guys, we got outside of it, we pulled back. Look at all these other times, back test it. Look here, we got out of it, we pulled back. We're basically out of it. Wait for that pullback. Okay? So on the 1 day, we really pull back out of here. Just want to get these Bollinger Bands off. There we go. We'll get these off. I want you guys to see how trend changes work. Alright, also look for this 30 wanting to cross over this 200-day. If that happens, there's a beautiful golden cross right there. And that would be a big one with the 30-day EMA. Look at that, guys. That would be awesome if we could get that. Still, look at all the overhead resistance that we're going to have. There's some big areas here of overhead resistance. But what I wanted to show you on the 1 day chart, it's all about this 200-day moving average. We have not been up above that, my friends, since May. So you can't tell me that that's not a big deal. And what you're seeing is you see how this bottom started to get put in. And now that trend's changing. We kept having lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. Now we're having higher lows. And it's happening, and we're having higher highs. So now as we're running up into these resistances, we're going to have to see what happens. That's why today's close is going to be so important. But you see on all this, look at the 30-day moving average, guys. Every time we'd come up to it, we'd hit it and we'd fall back below it. We are finally up above it for Litecoin. Do you see when we were in the bull market here, we treated that as support the whole time. So this is a really good one to pay attention to as well. And that's why I said a nice pullback onto it would be no problem at all. That'd be a great spot, around $40 to go long. You see, but the guys who can identify this trend change the fastest, they're going to be the ones who are the most profitable. But still in the long thing, the grand scheme of things, guys, say you are able to catch around $40, $45 again. Look at this. Look where you're catching this. You're still at the bottom of this chart. And that's why I said that what's the reason of FOMO here?